maybe we should stop and not say, you know, do Muslim women have rights or don't have rights, or does Islam give women rights or take rights away from them? Are there better alternatives? Which is sort of the way we all talk about these issues. And I say, well, let's look at who uses this concept of Muslim women's rights or human rights. It would be the same thing. Where, you know, what kinds of documents, what kinds of organizations, what kinds of meetings, where does it work in the world, and what does it produce in the world, and what then isn't produced?
Orientalist constructs of Eastern women as the other have been used to justify colonialism for centuries. These constructs have been gendered and continue to function in contemporary times. Orientalist views of the West have created a fixed image of the Muslim women that generalize them through stereotypes and removes their agency away. The construction of the identities of Muslim women, though, can only be depicted through a lens that problematizes their context and considers the complexities that are involved. Their roles as mothers, wives, professionists, workers, sisters, daughters, etc. continuously reshape the boundaries of women in society. The image of Muslim women is one of the most visible examples of the generalization of the Orientalist depiction of women. Muslim women are complex and entail a large variety of images that change from country to country. Orientalists focus only on one woman. But neither one of these images are real. Each one of these is only one of the forms that Muslim women have all over the world. The diversity of fashion in Muslim women is not restricted to daily life, but is also a transnational phenomena recognized worldwide. Muslim fashion shows are important events in the greatest fashion capitals of the world like New York, Dubai, London, and Paris. Muslim fashion shows in America and the image of Muslim women in Saudi Arabia, for example, are just two examples of real Muslim women around the world. None of them is right or none of them is wrong. They are both real and correct in the context in which they perceive and interpret Islam. Fashion is just one of the many issues that are object of the debate between scholars and people in both sides of the world. One of the main Orientalist gendered ideas is that of oppression. Orientalists portray the image of the submissive woman that is constantly oppressed by the men in her life, guided both by patriarchal attitudes and religious constraints. However, Muslim men justify their patriarchal attitudes over women as protective measures. Men portray women as their most valuable asset, as the mothers and the caretakers. For that reason, women should always be sheltered from all dangers that might threaten herself, her honor, as well as the families.
By default, women can only love one man. Subhanallah, by nature, Allah created them unable to love more than one man. But Allah created men to have the capability of loving more than one woman.
If I came to your house and I asked you, can I see your diamonds? Can I see your money? Can I see your jewels? Can I have your PIN number? You wouldn't give it to me, and you wouldn't have it in front of me. Well, our women, our wives and our mothers and our daughters, they're worth more to us, they're more precious to us than our diamonds, our gold, and our PIN number.
And while criticizing Orientalism contributes to the problematization of gender in the Arab world, the most important thing is to criticize the methodology the Orientalists have used to study Islam and Muslim women. Orientalists have assumed that religious belief systems translate automatically into reality. They base their argument on assuming that a belief system produces a model of life without regarding the fact that individual agency and its interaction with beliefs are interconnected and cannot be separated. In fact, religion does not mirror daily life. Daily life has its own dynamics irrespective to belief. The holy text does not determine what daily life is. Lifestyle is determined by the combination of individual agency, structure, and belief. This is, they cannot be applied or considered separately. It is the interconnection of both what shapes life as each society knows it. Women in Arab countries have different roles to fulfill that are considered exclusive of the feminine realm. Her role in the workforce has been largely overlooked, regardless of the fact that 40% of the households in Egypt are economically supported by women. Moreover, there is a 23.1% of female participation in the workforce, out of which 46% are working in the informal sector. One of the main factors that contribute to the persistence of gender gaps in workforce participation is the legislation. Balancing family-led demands, particularly child-rearing, can be very challenging for women, especially in countries like Egypt, where laws regarding gender discrimination and benefits for working women are inadequate and loosely enforced. Moreover, these laws were created by men from a male point of view. This is, they were created to help women to fulfill their roles in the household as mother and caretakers. For example, female labor laws allow women to take 3 months maternity leave after having a child. These laws, however, don't protect women from losing their positions while enjoying this leave. We believe that a change is needed in the law to give women the opportunities to get back to their positions after their 3 months are over, and to have the adequate training to get back to their jobs and can get the promotions they deserve. Women need to have nurseries in their workplace and have more flexibility in their working hours by maybe allowing them to work from home or divide the working hours between the office and the house. The law needs to protect women professionally and give them their legal rights in the personal arena. It should ensure that the woman's career path is not negatively affected by her becoming a mother. Such measures need to be enforced through a system of penalization. Women need to get the incentives and legal support they need in order to obtain personal and professional achievements equally. Recognizing the value of women as workers is just as important as doing so as human beings. Women add distinguished value by virtue of being the givers of life. Women, as the backbone of the family, also need to be contextualized within the boundaries of their environment. The structure of the families in the Arab world and in Western countries are remarkably different. Women in the West have an overriding feeling of guilt and detachment to their children because of their roles in the workplace. Generally, mothers have to leave their children in the care of strangers to be able to go to work. On the other hand, in the Arab world, and Egypt in particular, families have a more communal life, where children are usually looked after, partially raised, and even breastfed by enlarged families. There is a rooted feeling of solidarity within the Arab Muslim communities that generally lacks in the Western nuclear family. This feature allows women to actively participate in the workforce without having a constant concern for her children. The Arab world is not a homogeneous and monolithic static entity. Respecting the diversity of all forms of Muslim women and interpretations of Islam sheds light over the complexities that give form to different lifestyles. Understanding Islam in its own context will allow us to create adequate legislation that complies with the necessities of each society, and therefore, each woman in particular.